How we doing, boys and girls? Welcome, welcome. Good morning. It's a Monday. What does Monday mean? Monday means fun stuff. Monday means we get to check the mailbox from yesterday. Well, I mean, that technically happens every day, but you know. Secondly, we get to say hi to a bunch of new people that are probably going to turn up today. We got a nice, generous host yesterday from Mr. Samadan, and along with it came a whole bunch of new followers over on the Twitch, on Team Twitch. So Team Twitch should be popping off today. We'll see. We'll see. Shout out all that here nice and early. Now, clocks changed. Clocks changed for me the other day. I'm assuming they probably changed for some of you guys as well. And that usually tends to lead to a bit of confusion on stream start times for a few days. It's certainly thrown my brain through a loop. Like, it's weird, right? 1 hour's worth of difference sounds like nothing, but your brain just goes... And I don't exactly keep a schedule in the first place. My stream is my schedule. Outside of the stream, anything, whenever. But did we all have a good weekend? Did we? How did the goal making go? Or were you not even playing Warcraft? Were you just chilling? Saminan is the man. He is indeed. He is indeed. He's been doing it a fair time now with Samadan. The whole goal making jazz. I mean, he's hit his... I want to say he's just had his 2-year anniversary, I believe, on Twitch. I think may even be longer than that now. Some of you guys will know. I'll be honest, I think I've only really followed Samadan in the last 9 months or so. But yeah, so a few things this morning. A few things first thing this morning. We got the, it's Monday, so we do the mailbox. Do the weekend mailbox, we talk about how the weekend went. Secondly, we've got the Wowhead Weekly Economy wrap-up that we can take a skim over. There's only a couple of things in it this week, and one of them I know is a touchy subject, so I'm going to breeze through it relatively quickly. So I don't think the weekly wrap-up will take too long this week, but I want to give people 20 minutes, half an hour chance to sort of get into the stream before we dive into that. And then, of course, we're continuing our Completing Outlands series. We'll head back over to Outlands today. It's Terokkar Forest. I'm going to follow the natural leveling progression. So we'll do Terokkar Forest next. We will then probably head over to Nagrand. I believe that's the next logical way to go. Blades Edge Mountain, then either Netherstorm or Shadow Moon Valley to finish it off, depending on how we feel. We'll see. The completing Outlands will probably, hopefully, a zone a day. I don't think there's a huge amount that we need to do in each zone. We've basically done Hellfire Peninsula. We need to kill that one rare. There's one rare we need in Hellfire Peninsula. That stupid wormy boy that we can just never find. Kill that dude, boom, done. That's every single rare in the entirety of Outlands. Tick, meta achievement, done, the whole shebang. Excellent stuff. We'll see how it goes. Wow, hang on, something's wrong. Why is my OBS claiming that it's using 30% of my CPU? That's not the way that it should be. Hang on, quick task manager jobby. Let's investigate. Why is OBS doing a mad one? Okay, now it's chilled out again. I don't know, whatever. I'm using this new, I'm using Streamlabs OBS instead of regular OBS because it has a lot of tools built into it for this multi-stream thing, because you can see up here we're live on both YouTube and we're live on Twitch because, you know, technology is a wonderful thing. Streamlabs OBS does a really good job of assisting you in doing that. But the rest of the software is shit. I'd rather have regular OBS every day of the week. Anyway. TSN's here. Good morning to you, sir. Welcome, welcome. How did your mythic key get on last night? I was unfortunately, after I passed over, I couldn't stick around too long because, you know, I needed to get some stuff done and get some sleeps. I'm really hoping this coffee kicks in quicker than it usually does, because for some reason I'm feeling hella tired. But I'll tell you what we'll do. We'll switch over whilst we wait for a few people to flow in. We'll switch over to the mailbox. Nope, that's the wrong scene. That's the one we're meant to go. I've changed the order. Let's see what we did yesterday. We did a bunch of stuff yesterday. Ooh, cheeky. Bought a few materials. Now I've never worked this out with Trade Skill Master. When it shows you the total, is the total all of the pluses minus the minuses? I'm not too sure. 2 keys timed a 13, depleted a 14. Hey, well, timing a 13 is not a bad effort. Fair play. Fair play. Way more than I've done in Shadowlands. I don't think I've done a single key in Shadowlands so far. Just doesn't appeal to me. But anything notable here? Anything really standout-ish? I mean, the thing to note is that even though somebody was crashing or attempting to crash some of my markets, some of the rank 4s were being slapped about pretty hard yesterday. Yet we still managed to sneak through a couple of big rank 4 sales. Shadowgas Pauldrons at 92k. I'll take that all day long. Boring question, do you think the token will keep rising? I keep positioning the buying thinking the price will get lower, but it won't happen. It's a bit like Bitcoin. It's far more predictable than Bitcoin. I can give you that for a fact. As it stands right now, just think of it this way. The token is always cheapest when the most people are playing. Always. Categorically always. So, expansion launch, for example. The expansion launches, the token drops by like 30, 40, 50%. Expansion launch is absolutely the best time to buy your tokens. Second to that, you want to be buying your tokens about a week after a major patch. About a week after a major patch is where the majority of people who are going to come back to the game have come back to the game. And in turn, the people that, you know, want all of the things, they want to buy their Bone Shatter Treads at rank 4 off Mantheus for 80,000 gold, and yet they don't have 80,000 gold. A lot of them will turn to the Blizzard store to buy a token to turn into a bunch of gold so they can buy their new shiny. Now, it's relative though. The token drops in price usually by 20, maybe 30% when a patch launches. But of course, the difference between now and patch 9.1, I don't foresee the token getting any cheaper anytime soon. But it depends how we're going to touch on this a little bit later. It depends on how you cash out your gold, should we say. I just usually pay for the game with tokens as and when the game reminds me I've ran out of game time. I don't really worry about it that much. Honestly, it's much easier to min-max your gold making and make a little bit more gold than it is to try and min-max the purchase of tokens, which could be the difference of like, oh, do I buy it at 200k or do I buy it at 203k? Well, just go do another calling and then it doesn't matter. It's much easier to make the gold than it is to worry about, because you can't control the token price. You've got no control over it at all, so it's purely guesswork. Buy the tokens when you need them and just, you know, make a bunch of gold. Easy game. I know people like to speculate pretty heavily on the token price. What's going to happen? Why is it going to do X, Y, and Z? But In reality, over the grand scale of things, it doesn't make a huge difference. Most people expect that I have my Blizzard balance to be like totally capped, and it's not. I like I said, I literally, if my game time runs out, I just buy another token. I just trade the gold in. It's part of doing business. Consider it a business expense. If the business expense 1 month is slightly higher, then I just need to make an extra 5k gold that month. No biggie. It's pretty simple. But anyway, mailbox from yesterday. Saturday was terrible for sales. Not quite sure what happened on Saturday. Well, I know what happened on Saturday, and it was that I didn't get to play very much. Not playing the game a huge amount does tend to affect the amount of gold you make, considering most of this comes from... It's only 47... I only sold 47 items yesterday, but there was a good... I'd probably want to say an hour, maybe 2 of actual proper hardcore PvP to get this. Most of these sales came within a couple of hours. The rest of that was just, you know, the odd cancel scan here or there. Right, so let's grab out all of this random stuff that we've bought. Send that where it needs to be so it doesn't flood our inventory too much. I bought a reasonable amount of Phaedrum, you know. I've been sort of dipping into the ore market as and when I see it profitable, rather than just buying the materials I need for my Shadowghast ingots when I need them. Trying to be a little bit more proactive, just to eke out that little bit more gold. Runiter, welcome. Good morning to you, sir. Welcome, welcome. So let's send these over to this fella. You can have the callous hide that I bought. I'm wondering actually whether this ore, whether I just stash it in the bank here. No, because I need my reagent bank here to be for soul dust. I mean, I've got the guild bank. I could just put it all in the guild bank because, you know, guild be storage, right? But putting it in and taking it out of the guild bank is... maybe we'll do it. This becomes the slight issue, that putting stuff in and out of a guild bank is relatively slow. I wish this is something Blizzard would fix, you know. I know why they do it, because when it's your personal bank, it just, you know, it just does it. But when you're putting something within a guild bank, every item that you put in the guild bank, it actually has to change the item ID of it, and then it has to change it back again when you take it out. It's something to do with the fact that it goes into like communal storage, which is why every item that goes into a guild bank and comes out of the guild bank has this like verification process run on it, and that's what causes it to be considerably slower than the regular bank. Bit annoying, I know, but it's just has to happen. Leystrite ore went from 5 gold to 10 gold a week ago and has stayed that way. Not sure why. 5 gold is always, in my opinion, the absolute rock bottom price you should see Leystrite go for. Leystrite will tend to follow a similar price to Elysium ore. Sorry, a relative price. Leystrite ore should always be 10 times cheaper than Elysium ore. But of course that means that when your Elysium ore gets down to like 60 gold, there's not much further for Leystrite to go. I would expect Leystrite to float between 5 and 10k. Let's not forget that anytime bots are up and running on, well, in past history, Moldraxxus, if there's bots up and running, the price of Leystrite will dip to an all-time low. The second those bots stop, the price will come back up again. But Leystrite ore is never really going to go much above 10 gold. Because past 10 gold, it's more effective for people to buy Elysium and prospect Elysium, which is why it sort of floats between those two price points now. What's going to happen when we get flying is going to be a whole different ball game, I think, but we'll have to see. It's also kind of because when Leystrike dips down to sort of 5-6 gold a piece, that's when a lot of Jewel crafters will look at just buying everything, like literally just taking the whole lot off the auction house, regardless of how much there is. I mean, I'll easily buy 100,000 Leystrike if it's at sort of 5 gold a piece, easily. Just buy it all up, take it all off, prospect it all, make it disappear, turn it into the essences, and then make rings and necks. And just vendor the gems. 5 gold is a price point that most jewel crafters will see to be just, yeah, almost an insta-buy. So, which is hence why it's never going to get quite that cheap. Because the bottleneck for jewel crafting is always the essence of rebirth. Rebirth is the most difficult one to come by. You can mass prospect Phaedrum ore to focus on getting essence of rebirth. But that is also why, if you check the auction house, the Phaedrum ore is almost always the most expensive. Is flying coming in 9.1? Yes. My prediction is that it won't drop on patch day. There will still be 2 or 3 weeks worth of time gating before we get flying. Blizzard have said that it's not going to be a traditional Pathfinder achievement like we've had in the past, but what they have hinted at is that it will be baked into the storyline. So whatever the new storyline is in patch 9.1, as we saw with patch 9.0, we got drip fed the storyline on a week by week basis. So I would imagine the same will happen in patch 9.1. Meaning we won't get flying on day 1, but we will get flying at a predictable time. So then we can sort of plan for it. Because yes, flying makes a huge difference to the value of materials. I can't really at this point see how the material prices are going to drop any lower. But the material prices are kind of being held up by legendaries right now. So if legendaries aren't as prominent in patch 9.1, then there's room for the material prices to just tank with the ease of flying to gather them, you see. 3 Samon Mage Dmitriev, thank you for the follow, appreciate it. You got a very long username, sir. And Lyeth, welcome, good morning, good morning. With all that talk about Leystrike, I need to check what the price is on my realm. The issue I have, and you'll see by the numbers on my realm, is that my realm is a mid-pop server. There's often stuff like this kicking about, but it doesn't turn up very... I mean, this is one fella posting 29,000 Leystrike ore. You try and tell me that wasn't botted. Considering the fact that 29,000 Leystrike ore from one single character is definitely not somebody buying out everything that's cheap and relisting it to try and flip it, because there wasn't even 29,000 Leystrike ore in total on the server yesterday, because I check every day. This, I'm actually very tempted just to buy it and turn it into just mass prospect it all. What's 30,000 times 7? 7, 14, 20. That's 210k, right? Am I short on essences? Am I short on legendary rings and necks? Well, apparently we don't have any Shadowgast rings, and we only have one shadow. So okay, yeah, okay, we're buying that. That's 33,000 lay strike right there. Do I just buy out everything under like 7 gold and just call it a day? 44,000 lay. See, that's a nice round number. I like round numbers. Trot, welcome to you. 300,000 is a nice round number. I'll remember that, and it'll be easy to work out my profit on it. So we'll do that first and foremost then. Let's grab up some of this. That's 44,000 lay strike ore. Okay, yoink. It's going to make that botter very happy, but what are you going to do? With that, we need to make sure our second account is online and that we can start prospecting. Oh dear. Oh dear. Let's fix that. The likelihood is then, if that's 300,000 in lay strike ore, minus what I'll get in gems, which I can just vendor straight away, will instantly recuperate. What is the... How many gems am I going to get from 30,000? In fact, it wasn't 30,000, was it? It was 300,000 I spent. It was 40... I think it was 44,000 lay strike ore I bought. 44,000, let's just use that as a round number. Check the Shadowlands cheat sheet, check the prospecting tab, dump in lay strike ore. I paid about 6 gold 50 average. I bought 44,000. Total cost 286, yeah, give or take roughly. Maybe my average price was a bit higher then, say 6.6, 6.7. We'll go with 6.7, meaning I should get somewhere in the region of 4, 8, 12, let's say 13,000 gems. What's the sum of these three? $13,000 gems. That is equal to that number multiplied by 2.5 as a vendor sell price. So we'll get 30,000 gold back straight away. So we'll get 10% of the price back just by vendoring the gems. That will then give us 270,000 gold worth of essences. Nearly, what, estimation... between 300 and 330 essences of rebirth, I'd guess. Okay. That's good for 8 Shadowghast rings at rank 4. Okay, yeah. We'll easily turn that into 500,000. Pretty easily turn that into 500,000. Because that's, with the lay strike ore, what did we say? 6.7 gold? Giving us an essence cost of about 224 gold a piece. That's 224 gold a piece, assuming that we're ignoring the gems. Where's the sheet I'm looking for? That one. 224, 224. Shadowghast ingots, I'm getting these much cheaper nowadays. Right, so that's giving me an actual crafting cost. Crafting cost of sub 30k for a rank 4 ring. That's nice. That's nice, because I know I can sell the rank 4 rings for comfortably 60k. So we'll double up. We'll double up on the... If we can double up on the rank 4 rings, it basically makes any Shadowghast neck that we sell pure profit, regardless of how much we get for it. So if we double up on the crafting cost of the rings, anything we get from the necks is free, and that's then our profit. That'll do nicely. That'll do nicely. Right. Let's grab all this then. Now the fun bit is we need to mass prospect all of this. But whilst we check out the weekly economy report, we can get all this mass prospected. It'll take a little while. I might do it in batches, but... another example of why I sort of suggest to people that you start with a sizable amount of gold if you want to get into crafting with the professions, because sometimes you just need to do things like this. When you see materials at the right price and enough of them, you need to be in the position where you can just buy them all. You need to know that if there's 100,000 gold worth of materials, or there's 500,000 gold worth of those materials, if they're at the right price, they're at the right price. And you need to put yourself in a position where you can buy it out if you need to. This is why rich goblins get richer, because to spend 300,000 gold on lacerite ore to somebody that is just starting out would quite comfortably be. I mean, I literally spent in the US, what's that, like 2 tokens? It's a huge amount of actual gold to spend in one go. It's a sizable risk for somebody that doesn't have a lot of gold, but I can spend 300,000 gold and it doesn't feel like a risk to me anymore. It's going to be fun trying to mass prospect all of this though. My inventory is going to cry on my other character. Right, not to mention buying it all on one character and then having to send it to another character is not ideal either. Is it Postal that does the instant send? Yeah, if you've got Postal installed, you can just, oh, I don't even know what button it is. Maybe shift click on the items or control and click on the items, I can't remember. And it will, you know, instantly fill. Yeah, it's control. Control and click on something and it will fill the mail with... If you've only got one of the item, it will look for items similar to that. Yeah, it's control and click. Right. Let's... have I got reasonable bag space? Oh, I've not got any bag space. This is not good. We need to head to a bank. Offload some of our wares. But yeah, Postal's an absolute godsend for that. People tell me all the time I should just set up TSM mailing operations, but the problem is I don't always send the same materials to the same characters. In this instance, for example, I want to send the lacerite ore to my jewel crafter, but under normal circumstances I'd actually send my ore to my character that holds all of my materials. So setting up a TSM operation, whilst sounds sensible, isn't actually any more flexible if you send materials to different places at different times for different reasons, which is why I don't do it. I might just swap out 3. Have I got 3 empty bags? Why am I holding grey items? That makes no sense. The convenient thing to do is probably just swap out these bags for what I've got here. One of those. One of those. And one of those. because then I can easily just go claim the bags back when I'm done. Open all, go. 400 stacks of lacerite, ouch. Oh, sugar, that's not what I planned to do. I've realised where the rest of that stuff has come from. Derp, hang on, please hold. I had about 400 items that have probably expired from the auction house, that's why. Leave some space for gems. Yeah, that's true. Well, I only need to leave six slots. 7 slots, sorry. 1 for each colour of gem, 1 for each type of essence. And then we'll be good. But I made a boo-boo. I wasn't meant to press the collect all button. I was only meant to open the lacerite ore. I forgot I had all of those expired auctions in there. Let's throw those up on the auction house. We'll get to the, I'll get this prospecting up and running, get the ball rolling on this, and then we'll dive into the weekly economy report. I'm intrigued to have a little bit of a read through that. Right, maybe I'll just take out the lacerite. It feels like it's about 7,000 degrees in my house today. I'm not sure why. Open a window. I guess it's because we're getting into spring now. My body's acclimatized to minus 20 degrees. You know, typical Nordic winter temperature. And it's not Nordic winter temperatures anymore. Oh, it's my underlight angler, which I never really used. See, Legion had the best. Legion had arguably the best profession setup. Easy, almost no questions about it. Right, that'll do for the start. That'll do for the start. Let's get that mass prospecting. 1,243. Alright, go. Go, gadget. So he's going to whackety whack away. Let's put the essences down here. The 2 we don't want, the 2 we do want. And then there we go. Nice. Right, that can tap away. We've got sound in background on though. That's going to be really annoying. Let's turn that off. Go. What? Oh, hang on. That's not what am I doing. Okay, go. Right, quick cancel scan. Yesterday filled my space with cloth and then couldn't craft the bags. Oops. Bags are one of those really frustrating things that you can't. You almost can't. You want to treat bags like a consumable, like a potion or a feast or a, you know, some enchant or something like that. You want to treat it like a consumable in terms of like the quantity that you make, but the problem that they don't stack is highly annoying. Which kind of means you have to, you tend to have to do a lot more frequent but a lot smaller crafting cycles with bags. That always frustrated me. They sell really fast. Yeah, exactly. I mean, they sell fast, but the fact that they take up 1 inventory slot each is really annoying. Imagine if every potion took up 1 inventory slot. You'd go absolutely bonkers. Imagine if you could only craft like 100 potions before your inventory was full. That's kind of how it feels when you're crafting bags. Which is also why you see very, very many people use the auction house as sort of some sort of weird storage. 11 Alfro Sinitikova has followed. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. These follows seem somewhat suspicious to me. They seem very much like bot names, yes. Both have Russian names. Both start with a number, then an underscore. Yeah, seems very much like bot names to me. If they're not a bot, they'll say hi in chat now. It's a bag, it should stack. A bag and a bag and a bag. Bagception, yes, you're right, they should. You should be able to put bags inside of bags inside of bags. Everybody in their house has that one bag that is full of plastic bags. That is a prime example of everybody has a bag that is full of bags in the house. Bags that they save for a rainy day and then never use. Everybody has one. It's a fact. So, can't Blizzard fix it. Right. Let's take a quick looky at the Wowhead weekly economy. Jesus, 208,000 gold currently the token. Nice, 211, 212 was the highest. Yeah, it doesn't surprise me. Okay. Where are we at? Is there any other news quickly? Feral Druid tanking plus 14 mists. Feral Druid tank. This isn't meant to be a thing. Okay, sure. Here we go. Wowhead economy weekly wrap up number 170. Now, the first topic is likely to be relatively controversial. Whereabouts do I live? Just assumed in the UK somewhere. That would be a safe assumption, considering I am English. But I actually live in Finland. So, let's take a little looky. We know the weekly economy report. We know it's done by Samadan. We all know Samadan at this point. If you don't, you absolutely should. There's a strong likelihood that some of you found me through Samadan in the first place. So, Samadan does his YouTube series. He has his YouTube series, which is a very beginner-friendly, slow and steady wins the race style let's play series, I guess you could call it. He set up a couple of characters over on his NA realms. I can't remember the names of them, but he has one that deals primarily with flipping items on the auction house, one that does some farming, and one that does a little bit of crafting, so he tries to cover all angles. Really good for beginners. It's a little bit slow for my liking, but it's a good series for beginners, and it goes into a nice amount of detail about what's going on. Samadan, Stabadan, and Shadowdan. Okay, is those the three? Are they okay? Yeah, it's a very good sort of series to dive into. Plus, it's kind of it's friendly to dive in at any point. So, plus, of course, there's also the stream he does on Twitch. He primarily streams on Twitch. I don't think he's ever streamed on YouTube. I'm not sure. He might have done. Who knows? But either way, Samadan puts together this weekly economy report each week, and just sort of highlights what's been going on in the last week and maybe what's coming up in the next week of goal making as well. Now, the big one, the one that I'm only going to talk about for a couple of minutes because it's relatively controversial, is the game time changes. Now, this, as Samadan pointed out, was actually changed for people in the UK back in December 2020. But now Blizzard have decided that they're going to do this globally. Maybe they were using the UK and the whole Brexit thing as a bit of a test zone, a test location to see how it went down. There was a bit of fuss about it when they changed it over in the UK, but it didn't kick up anywhere near as much of a stink as it did now that they've done it globally. But what have they done? Blizzard have decided that their option of purchasing prepaid game time, so the 30 days, the 90 days, and the 180 days prepaid game time is way too complicated for the world to get their head around. So they've condensed those 3 different options into just one 60-day prepaid game time option, costing $29.99 USD, or I believe it comes in at about $25.99 in euros, I feel, and I would guess in Great British Sterling it's probably $29.99 as well. Correct me if I'm wrong. But the real thing to note about this is that the WoW token still works exactly the way as it did before, meaning that if you were the kind of person that just, bought a WoW token off the auction house once a month with gold that you've made to pay for your gold game time in that way, you're not going to notice any difference. If you actually use your credit card and sign up on a subscription to pay for the game, you won't notice any difference either. The only thing that's changed in this regard is the prepaid one-off game time purchases have been condensed into just one option. Now, this has frustrated a few people. It is safe to say it's frustrated a few people. Firstly, it's removed the cheapest option. That alone is going to annoy people. The cheapest option used to be a single purchase of 30 days of game time. You now have to buy a minimum of 60 days of game time, which, I get it, it's frustrating. If you're dipping back into the game, maybe a new patch comes out, you don't really know if the patch is going to be any good or not. Instead of signing up for a subscription, you might just buy a single one-time use 30-day game card to play it for a month and then make your mind up. That option is now being removed. You either have to pay for 60 days up front or choose to, set up a subscription. I think one of the big frustrations for many people is that they got so used to buying these one-time purchases of game time, giving them the choice, the flexibility. To take that away, I get it. I get why people are annoyed. Yet, if you look at the world, generally speaking, this is not uncommon to see. Your mobile phone is probably on a subscription. The internet that you use to play this game is probably on a subscription. Your Netflix account that you use for entertainment is probably on a subscription. Most of these other systems in the world don't even give you a one-time payment option, and usually if they do, it's usually more expensive than being on a subscription anyway. It's a luxury that players have had with World of Warcraft for a long time, and I get why people are frustrated that it's now being taken away. But it kind of was to be expected. The greater frustration about the game time changes is going to be in countries where they don't use the euro or the US dollar or the Great British pound. In terms of the fact that some countries have seen a really sizable hike in actual price to playing the game, which of course, like in some regions it's as much as 20 or 30% more expensive now to play the game, which is definitely annoying to some. I get that. Coffee Club membership is on a sub. Exactly, yes it is. The best $4.99 you could ever spend. Of course, it is indeed. Unless, of course, you're an oil tycoon and you're on the Coffee Club Madman subscription, which is €99 a month. with the only justification of that you have too much money, please give me some of it. I can tell you now, nobody's signed up for that. That was more of a meme than it was an actual expectation for somebody to do that. But yes, so the game time change has made, from a Goblin point of view, let's talk about the Goblin point of view of it for a second. Many players who make gold to pay for their game time have also been min-maxing that aspect of it as well. In terms of the fact that you used to be able to save up a load of gold, turn it into a bunch of tokens, and then buy the 180-day game time option. Doing that basically gave you 6 months of game time for the gold cost of only 5 months of game time. So it was a nice bonus for those who play the game with gold. Which of course is now, it basically means those that were doing that have seen an increase to what their subscription is. Which, yeah, once again, I get is kind of annoying. Some maths has been done on just how big of an increase it is. A TLDR, if you used to bulk buy your game time in 6 month slots using gold, it is now 6.2% more expensive than it was previously. It's not actually a huge amount, if I'm honest. Not actually a huge amount. The change, when it was introduced earlier to the UK, did not cause much of a ripple then. Maybe it's a British thing. We don't like to complain. Yeah, we do. Yeah, we do. Anyway, back then the consensus of the reasoning was it put it in line with what was able to purchase as physical game time cards. This is true. If you go into a shop and buy a game time card, they have been 60-day game time cards only for quite a while now. This was something that was changed a good amount of time ago by Blizzard, and I guess they were putting the Blizzard store in line with that, or at least that's what that was the reasoning that people put it down to. Maybe after that trial it was decided to roll out across the board. Yes, probably. Probably the case. Overall, doesn't affect those who are making gold all that much. It makes, if you are bulk buying your time, it now has made it slightly more expensive. But of course, you've still got to remember that you're still in essence playing the game for free by using your gold. You can't really be too annoyed at that. I'm an American, it's my constitutional right to complain about a fake currency. Yeah. Okay, prices going bananas. Haha, touche. Yes, the banana pet is now available. What was the TCG exclusive pet, bananas, has now been awarded due to the, 500,000 charity fundraiser for the Doctors Without Borders, meaning that every single person that has a subscription currently to World of Warcraft can get the pet bananas for free. What this has done, by no surprise to anybody, is completely tanked the price of this trading card game pet. Now, I like to talk on this channel a lot about what things are worth and the value being two different things. Bananas was a trading card game pet that was primarily used by people to transfer gold from one server to another. Its worth was very subjective. Yes, it was a trading card game pet, so it was relatively rare in the first place, but it's undeniable that a lot of its value was held up in the fact that it could be used. You could buy bananas or any of the other trading card game pets for a really large amount on one server, and then move to another server, cage that pet up and sell it on that server, and usually sell it for a similar price. and do it relatively quickly. It was commonly, these higher value pets are commonly just seen as ways for goblins to move gold about realms more than they are like actual pets per se. This just now means there's just one less pet that we're going to be doing this with. Is the price of bananas going to, you know, bounce back? Probably. But we'll see. We'll see. It's not a huge thing. If you had bought the bananas pet on like a flip previously, it's a bit of an ouch. But you win some, you lose some. Let's not forget that it was all for the benefit of charity anyway. So if you're mad about it, you're an evil person. But yes, the price of bananas is gonna drop horrendously. The bots are back. The next topic. Yes, the bots do seem to be back. Jack pointed this out to me a couple of days ago. We did a little bit of research into it on stream. I've kind of worked out how and why and where they're doing this. But Ghost Iron Ore is apparently on the radar of bots again. It seems to be, you can tell by this graph here, the regional summary. The back end of BFA, Ghost Iron Ore got botted pretty heavily. It got up to sort of 3.5 million region wide in the EU. And then presumably those bot accounts got banned, taking all of that Ghost Iron Ore that they hadn't managed to sell yet, just took it straight out of the market completely. They'd obviously botted it and not had great success selling it. Because of course if they'd sold it, it would still maintain in the market somewhere. So at the back end of BFA, Ghost Iron Ore was being botted. Those accounts got banned. It went back to a somewhat normal quantity, but of course the price then steadily trickled up, and it obviously got to a price point where whoever was doing the botting previously was like, right, well I'm going to give it another go now, and we've seen a huge spike in great big spike in the quantity of Ghost Iron Ore again. Hickons is raiding with a party of 25. Welcome, boys and girls, and appreciate it, Hickons. Thank you. Very much appreciate it. We're just quickly going, for those joining, we're just going through the weekly economy wrap-up. We go through this each and every Monday. We take a look at this. Samadan puts it together on a Sunday. He goes through it on his stream. I tend to just highlight it and give it an overview on the Monday morning, as I tend not to stream personally at the weekends. Bullywolf, thank you for the follow, appreciate it. So yeah, the regional quantity of Ghost Iron Ore has skyrocketed again. There's a location where you will commonly, if you go onto your, let's close this out of the way for a minute. Around here at the Golden Stair, there's you'll often see right at the gates of the Golden Stair. This for reference is in Vale of the Eternal Blossoms. The Golden Stair up here. You'll often see a paladin standing at the door, dropping a consecration. Warsaw, thank you for the follow, appreciate it. Welcome. There'll often be a paladin standing right here, dropping a consecration and just mining everything that he kills. Yes, you heard it right. Mining everything that he kills. This is one of the rare occasions where you can mine a mob after killing it, and that mob not only drops Ghost Iron Ore, but it also drops Trillium Ore, both white and black Trillium Ore. So it's completely broken. They're on a super mega ridiculous hyper spawn as well. So this is, wasn't this nerfed? No. It was nerfed in terms of the fact that they don't drop loot anymore, but they can still be mined, which is hella broken. Which is hence why it's one of the easiest things to just, you know, semi-automate. It's a bit ridiculous. Slacks 1900, thank you for the follow. Welcome, appreciate it. But we went and checked this out a day or two ago on stream, and there's a dude, probably on many servers, that literally just stand there and just The consecration kills them, and then they just stand there just whacking away at the corpses. Free ghost iron ore for days. Good to know for my semi-AFK farms. You can actually trigger a hyperspawn over here like super easily. Is it a guy doing it or a bot? Probably a little bit of both. It doesn't appear to be like a full-on botting operation. But one thing to note is you will see hundreds of druids flying around, which are definitely bots. So bear that in mind. But yes, Ghost Iron Ore has seen a huge spike in quantity on the EU. Now, I haven't checked the US realms actually, but the likelihood is that if it's happening on the EU, it's probably happening on the US as well. Let's just pick a, doesn't really matter where we pick, does it? Because we're looking at the regional. Okay, it doesn't seem to be happening as much, although this might be the start of it. It might just not have happened in as heavy. You can see the back end of BFA though. It was being botted not only on the EU but also on the US, and then those bot accounts got banned. So this could fall under just, you know, normal operation, but this increase in quantity and this drop in price tends to give me the indication that it's going down in price because of botting. Should get myself that last sky shard to make another mount today. The Alani mounts I think are still pretty good sellers. They're still pretty good sellers, and you can farm the sky shards relatively quickly, I think. Especially if you put a group together to do it. But yeah, Ghost Iron Ore is another one. We've over the last few weeks we've found a few materials that seem to be doing some weird things. It's definitely true to say that bots are still running rampant, but this is because this is a truly AFK farm, but it's not easily, because you're not looting them, you have to mine them. It's not like 2x4 multi-box AFK farm friendly. It's just one dude, single account, standing there mining everything he kills. It's not scalable in the same way that 2x4 AFK farms are. Obviously, 2x4 AFK farms tend to be super profitable because you're getting 8 times the results than you would by just doing it on one account. You can't multiply this. But yeah, so keep an eye on Ghost Iron Ore. That's the TLDR. Keep an eye on Ghost Iron Ore. If Ghost Iron Ore starts to drop down to a reasonably cheap price, it's often worthwhile picking it up, especially if you're either crafting Sky Golems or the dual crafting Panther mounts. Even just prospecting it, selling gems. There's loads of stuff you can do with Ghost Iron Ore. It's as a commodity, it still holds value pretty well. It's usually one of the things I would recommend somebody focus on if they're trying to make a lot of gold and are struggling with Shadowlands content. That it's, if you can farm it relatively quickly, plus it's usually holds its value around the 5 to 10 gold price easily. You look at current expansion, or I mean, we just bought a 100 million Leystrite ore and we paid, what was it, like less than 7 gold each, and you have to put a lot more time and effort into gathering Leystrite ore than you do Ghost Iron Ore right now. So something to consider. On that note, let's just check that this dude is, oh, this dude's finished doing his thing. Let me just ever so quickly before we finish the economy report, let me vendor some of these gems and get some more prospecting on the go. Yes, I'm vendoring the gems. Before anybody cries, when you're prospecting Leystrite in this quantity, there is nothing you can do with these gems that's worth your time. Vendoring them and cutting your losses is the best option. No, the profits. Well, the issue is there isn't much more profit in them. That's the problem. Do a cancel scan? You're probably right. Grab the rest of this lay strike quickly. Get this prospected. I mean, if you roughly 10% of the value of lay strike, you get back when you prospect, when you vendor the gems. If you guys are looking for like easy maths on how to calculate your costs, if you just vendor the gems, you get about 10% back. 1987, thank you for the follow, appreciate it. There's some interesting usernames following today. Some very interesting usernames. Suspect, suspiciously interesting. Right, do we do a very quick cancel scan? Let's do a very quick cancel scan. Who's online? You have some noisy eastern neighbours, potentially. Hello? I'm not a follower on Twitch. Be right back. That's the spirit. That's what we like. Right, ever so quick cancel scan. Just as a small intermission. There we go. Now you're a follower. Now you're a follower on Twitch. Appreciate it, John. Thank you. Thank you. How we doing, Nax? Morning. Been a while. Or you been lurking? You been lurking? Recently started flipping legendaries. Wish I started sooner. No surprise to find a lot listed at the wrong price or item level. Yeah, if you do it, if you hunt for them, you'll probably find them. Regardless of whether they're posted at the wrong item level or not, there's still a lot of opportunities for flipping legendaries for sure. Been lurking, decorating the house. Oh, bit of DIY. Right, this is working away nicely. We got our cancel scan done. Right, let's jump back into the economy report. Let's see if we can finish this off then quickly before we head over to Outlands. So let's take a look at just a couple of Samadan's notes for this Ghost Iron Ore situation. These kind of fluctuations can be down to a number of reasons. A well-known farm gets nerfed or a new one discovered. It's a popular item for botters to farm, so there's a ban wave. Well, yeah, this was the ban wave back at the end of Shadowlands. At the end of BFA, sorry. The price goes over a certain threshold, making it desirable to farm again. That's potentially what triggered the maybe that's what got considered to be a thing. The price probably went up to, what's this, like this line is 16 gold. It touched 16 gold region wide. Maybe that's when they were like, right, let's turn the bots on. Because I would imagine, I don't know, maybe we'll find out in a recent upcoming podcast, but I would imagine that bots tend to operate strictly by gold per hour profitability. how much gold can they make in an hour. If for example at 16 gold per ghost iron ore, they know that they can make X amount of gold, and it then becomes more profitable for them to bot ghost iron ore than it does to bot something else, whatever that something else is. They're obviously going to focus on whatever can make them the most gold. And so if the price of something gets to a certain threshold, then they're like, right, that's our cue to start the bots up on that, whatever it is. But that's just that's hypothetical theory at least. Go Team YouTube. How's Team YouTube doing? Team YouTube's holding up the fort pretty nicely. 33 to 25. Good effort, Team YouTube. Congratulations. Of course, we can only speculate, but what Jack suggests certainly holds some weight. What do you think? Well, this is absolute cast iron guarantee. Just straight up botting in action. In my eyes, there's no questions about it. You don't go from 1 million to 3.6 million ghost iron ore in a month without it being botted. It just doesn't happen. They nerfed a bunch of old vendor shuffles, so I'm sure the bots are just gathering and selling mats instead of crafting to vendor. Yeah, true. A lot of it would probably have gone unnoticed because the items that they were botting would have never have hit the auction house. It's only when they try and sell their wares on the auction house that we notice it even happens a lot of time. They were probably still botting Tide Spray Linen. They absolutely certainly were botting Shaldori Silk. Now that Blizzard have nerfed both of those, they've probably turned their focus to something else. Likely in this case to be Ghost Iron Ore. I heard also instance farming. Is it still the what's it called? The Botanica? Ironically, the Botanica dungeon that they still just like fly in and out of all day long over in, where is it, Netherstorm? I always heard that one was a very, very, very popular one for bots. Are bots back? People seem to misunderstand that bots are always here. It just depends on how apparent their presence is. They never go away. They're always here. It's just, are they doing something that concerns us directly or not? Cheapo Fell Steel Longblade recipes. I guess they don't vendor everything then. I guess they don't. Do I ever think of doing a podcast? Not really. My style tends to be to bounce off whatever's happening. I tend not to be a conversational leader, if that makes sense. But if somebody asks a question, I can probably talk about it for 5 minutes or so, which is why my interactivity when it comes to streaming distracts me heavily from the game. It's a positive distraction, by the way. Let me clarify. If somebody asks a question, I can talk about it for ages, but I'm not the one. I'm not good at asking questions, if that makes sense, which tends to lead to being a bad host. This is why like Jack and Zanzaful do pretty well with their podcast. Jack is naturally good at, asking questions, and I'm quite sure he puts a bit of time and effort into, preparing those questions for the podcast anyway. But Zanzaful is a bit more like me in terms of the fact that he can just talk about something when prompted for a bunch of time. If I was to do any sort of podcast, I would probably need a co-host that would take the lead more so. So, no, I've not really thought about doing a podcast, but there's probable reasons to why I probably wouldn't be very good at it myself. Hello. Right, where did we get to? Where do we get? Talking about distractions. We're getting the IRL distraction. Bots are like spiders. I hope not. I hate spiders. They're always there doing their thing. You just don't notice until one runs across your toes when you're sleeping. That is a ridiculously horrendous thing to say in public. Oh, yeah, I'm not a fan of spiders. There was many benefits to leaving the UK and moving to Finland. One of the benefits, no spiders in Finland. Spiders don't exist over here. Mwah! It's wonderful. I mean, they do, but they're literally like this big. They're smaller than a gnat's arsehole. I can mail you some. We have loads. Yeah, please don't. Please don't. Although, let's be honest, the way FedEx handles their packages, they probably wouldn't turn up alive. Took the dive into some leather working legendaries using your approach from early on and only recrafting what sells. The umberhide legs are selling well. Yes, I can confer. The umberhide legs are a very popular seller. Very popular seller. Sounds they're always here whether you sense their presence or not. Sounds like the Sith, except that there's more than well, yeah. Yeah, bots never disappear. They're always there. If their operation gets squished, like you see here, if the operation gets squished, they usually just move somewhere else. This is also one of the to link back slightly to what we were talking about with the game time changes. It's one of the common arguments against the game going free to play. A lot of people will just like, well, in 2021, having a subscription for a game is terrible. But honestly, the game would be so much worse, in my opinion, if it went free to play. One aspect of the game going free to play would be that if you think there's a lot of bots now, oh boy, you wait until the game goes free to play, and then you'll understand what a bot problem really is. If there's no initial cost for the bots, if there's no operational cost for them, there would be 10 times more bots than what you ever see now. Blizzard would have a monumental issue on their hands if they ever made the game free to play. Which is why I'm happy to, have the subscription, make enough gold to pay for your game time with gold. Best way to keep it relatively restricted from the bots. Temptation's always there to power level the legendaries, but I don't have the liquid gold for that. Yeah, my recommendation is do your absolute best to avoid that temptation. Especially when you're leveling them up. Because yes, the temptation does come there. You look at, oh well, the rank 3 has 20,000 gold profit in it. Maybe I'll just power level my rank 2 to get there. You got to remember that you don't know if they're actually selling for 20,000 gold profit. It's often the grass is greener on the other side. Work your way there naturally. Do it profitably. Do it at a pace that's not going to bankrupt you. There were literally whole guilds worth of bots on Stormscale EU. Blizzard isn't doing anything about it. It often appears that Blizzard aren't doing anything about it. But trust me, they know that they're there. Blizzard always know that they're there, but Blizzard ban bots in waves. And it's done for a very good reason. Blizzard will just keep track of accounts that they're going to ban. And they'll wait until they've got a massive, great big list of accounts they're going to ban, and then they'll ban them all in one go. They do it for a couple of reasons. The first reason being is that if you just instantly ban an account soon as you find it doing something it shouldn't do, the person who gets their account banned usually will then have a very, very, very good idea of what it was that they did that got them caught. And that's really important. That when Blizzard just catalogue a bunch of accounts they're going to ban and then wait a month and ban them, those banned accounts don't necessarily know exactly what it was that got them caught. So they don't know what to do differently next time to not get caught. There's a bit of psychology in there, but that's one of the reasons why they ban in waves and not just ban every time they see something. Secondly, the reason they ban in bulk is that for operations like this, when this happens, this is rarely just one person and one account. It's often, well, it's probably one person, but it's probably 50 accounts. If you were a botter, say, and you lose 2 or 3 accounts a week just because Blizzard banned them instantly, then you just build that into your operational cost of running the bots. Oh, if I need to buy 3 accounts every week, it's fine because I'm making enough gold to sell to cover the cost of that. It just becomes an operational cost. If you can ban an entire bot's infrastructure in one go, it's considerably harder for them to then get it all reset up and do it all again. Yeah, so there's a couple of reasons why Blizzard ban in waves rather than just instantly. But that does mean that usually the botting thing gets worse until it looks as if it's absolutely ridiculous, and then all of a sudden the bots all disappear in one go. Reported one, got a mail from them, they'd done something. I'm skeptical about those emails that you get, you know. The ones that say that, thank you for your report, we have taken action on an account. I think they're just randomly sent out. I genuinely don't think that they mean a lot. It's a nice positive feeling for those that are reporting bots, true. It's a positive reinforcement tool. I don't think there's actually any... I think they're a bit of a hoax, but you'll never prove that. So it's just a guess. But anyway, the last thing on our list for the Wowhead economy wrap up this week is Zanzaful has finished his 24 hours of Silithus farming. Zanzaful, who is very well known within the community for doing a lot of transmog farming. Almost every time you jump on his stream, you'll see him doing a loot appraiser challenge of some sort. And Silithus is one of the most popular ones to get some of those really high value old world transmog items. Now, he tends to, rather than just do it for 20 minutes and multiply his results, he's gone out and actually farmed it for 24 hours in total and tracked everything that he got. And it gives, I mean, I won't spoil it for you. I'd recommend you guys watch the video yourself. But you can see you get a lot of items if you do something like this for 24 hours. Now, from my point of view at least, the big issue with this is if you farm somewhere for 24 hours, you are likely to oversaturate the market with those rare items. The Skull Flame Shields, the T-Boo's Longswords, the Blade of Hammer. These are items that they're rare and they're expensive because they're rare. If you farm one spot for 24 hours and end up with 5 of each one, for example, it's not rare anymore. You gotta be really careful if you do something like this. That there's a significant difference between having the items and selling the items. Focusing on drip feeding those items into the economy is key. If you farm somewhere for 24 hours and then dump everything that you farmed on the auction house, you're not only going to crush the market, you're going to make less gold yourself, and you're going to make less gold for everybody else around you, which will annoy lots of people on your auction house. So don't do it. These rare items like Skull Flame Shield, like T-Boos, even if you have 20 of them, keep 19 in the bank and only ever list one on the auction house, because These items are expensive because they appear rare. You need to keep that appearance of rarity, even if they're not rare for you. That will be the way that you'll make most gold when you sell them. List them and sell them one at a time. If somebody puts 5 Skullflame shields on the auction house, whoever then comes along and is like, oh, that's a cool appearance, I might buy one of those. Oh, there's 5 on the auction house? Well, they're obviously not that rare. I won't buy it now for 100k gold. I'll wait until it drops in price because they're obviously not that rare. Got a bunch of T-Roos for about 100k, been flipping them for 400k, people listing them too low. Yeah, this tends to be the thing. People will get one of these super rare items and they'll just panic, and they'll see just dollar signs will be spinning in their eyes, and they'll be like, oh my god, I can get so much gold for this. And then after listing it 3 times, they get bored and they just want that quick sale. And they lowball it, and somebody like Hickons will swoop in and get themselves a bargain. But equally, let's not forget, at the beginning of Shadowlands, transmog farming was broken for a few days. Like, really broken. Like, 10 times more things were dropping than they should have been, level broken. And I know for a fact there are people that cashed in hard at that point. There will be people with guild banks full of these things, for sure. Now, there may not be one of those people on your realm, but trust me, they do exist. Oh, look, another bot account following. I guess I'll say thank you all the same, just in case you're not a bot, but there's a serious amount of bots following me on Twitch today. Not sure why, but welcome all the same. I don't even like farming, but I actually farmed through that. Yeah, exactly. Like, there was close to 10 times the amount of items dropping. It only lasted for, like, I want to say 48 hours. But in those 48 hours, you could have farmed up 10 million in transmog items. It's all the bot goblins. Probably is. Probably is. But there we go. Highly recommend watching the 24 hours video by Zanzaful. Pretty interesting. Pretty good insight to what you can pick up from just a single spot. Most people know Silithus to be a very, very profitable place to farm. You can trigger a hyperspawn there relatively easy, nor do you, plus you don't really actually even need to be doing it in a group. It's of course more effective if you do it in a group, but you don't even have to. You can take a stroll over to Silithus solo and just run around and kill things, and you'll get a fair few items. But of course, with any transmog farm, you are literally playing the RNG lottery. You either win or you don't. The likelihood is, in relation to the amount of time it will take you, I consider that you probably won't win overall. You may, if you farm there for an hour and get lucky, just consider the fact you got lucky and call it quits there. Don't then spend another 10 hours, you know, trying to replicate that luck that you had in 1 hour. Because actually, by the time you've spent 15 hours farming for one of these, you've just wasted 15 hours. But transmog, it's either something you enjoy or something you don't. Farming's not for me personally, but I'm happy to buy all of your cheap transmog items when you get bored selling them. So, there we go. That was the Wowhead Weekly Economy Wrap-Up number 170. Right, and with that, I've been talking now for an hour and a half, virtually non-stop. My coffee is expired. I'm going to go grab myself a gold. But Manthius, it's a 213,000 gold an hour farm. True. True. Come back and tell me when you've got 213,000 liquid gold for that 1 hour, and we'll have another discussion. Ah, the sarcasm, it's real. But anyway, Anyway, we'll head over to Outlands in a minute. We'll continue our Outland completing series. Have we finished prospecting all of this? We have finished prospect. Okay, a little bit of maintenance before we head to Outlands. I'm gonna go grab a drink though because I'm thirsty. Occupy yourselves with, if you're on Team YouTube, smash that like button. Only 14 likes on the video today. Come on, let's pump those numbers, boys and girls. Team YouTube, let's do your part. If you're on Team Twitch, if you're new around here, consider hitting that follow button. Unless, of course, you're a random bot, then you're going to press the follow button anyway. I'll be back in 2 minutes, boys and girls. Good night, here comes. Sleep well. Alrighty. Beep boop, I am definitely not a robot. Yeah, sounds like a robot to me. Gonna drop the ban hammer on that Jaws fella. Anybody else notice the herb price is decreasing? I would imagine herb prices will decrease. I think I think the honeymoon period of patch 9.0.5 is, to all intensive purposes, over. Meaning we will now be on a relatively slow and steady decline down to the bottom again. Is my guesstimation. But one thing to remember is that if material prices go down, it all balances out. Like, trust me, it all balances out. Just don't see a material going down in price and think it's Christmas and like overreact. Went out to kill those stone lions, got 100 ghost iron ore, but no trillium. Trust me, it does drop because I've done it myself. Maru went down from 45 to 50 down to 27. Herbs tend to have a massive fluctuation in price. Herbs tend to fluctuate a lot on raid days, for example. It's exactly the same with the ore. At least for us over in the EU, on a Wednesday, the prices will be very, very different to what they'll be on a Thursday or a Friday. Reset day, crazy things happen. At this point in the week, you will often find things cheap because there'll be a bunch of people that did a whole bunch of farming over the weekend and now they've got their stuff on the auction house. Materials tend to be at their cheapest on a Sunday, Monday sort of time-ish, usually. But then when it only takes a few goblins to buy out a bunch of the cheap stuff, and then it goes, back up closer to market price. And then by Wednesday, you'll see the prices above market price because, bit of market manipulation is in play. Almost every time. Recent Bellular video said he doesn't expect to see 9.1 till June. And that's the dev team's best expectations. Longer wait than all previous expansion. Well, yeah, I saw that same video. He was basically talking about what Towley was saying on stream. Now, Towley is relatively tight with the Blizzard devs. He's such an OG in the streaming community, and he is always focused on World of Warcraft. I can't think of a time where Towley has really played anything else. He's always been very well supported by Blizzard as a content creator. That in turn has meant that if he comes out and says something like he's had conversations with Blizzard devs and X, Y, and Z is happening, then I would be willing to trust it. But it's not surprising though. Let's look at it from the point of view of that Shadowlands was delayed in the first place. Shadowlands was delayed in the first place. Even when Shadowlands finally came out, it is arguable that it was not anywhere near representative of what Blizzard planned it to be. Meaning that even when the game was launched, there was still probably a couple of months in terms of development behind where they'd have liked to have been. Hence why I think they got to a point with the development of Shadowlands where they realised, right, well, we're not going to be able to get this how we want it to be in time, so we just have to crush everything. Because the easiest way to balance everything is to make everything shit. Crush everything into the ground, make it inconsequential in terms of its power gain. This is why conduits, soulbinds feel meh. They all feel meh. They offer slight tweaks to the way that you play a spec, but they don't feel good. And that's because they had to squish everything. They had to squish everything so it was at least sort of balanced. Patch 9.0.5 took a long time to come out, and that was arguably the balance pass. It's true to say that patch 9.0.5 should probably have been how Shadowlands launched. Which means that they're realistically probably only working intensively on 9.1 currently. In the past, Blizzard have tended to be at least one, maybe even two patches ahead of themselves. But yeah, I think it's I think Blizzard are just massively behind schedule, just humongously behind schedule, and the delays have been a big thing for them. I mean, it's World of System land right now. Conduits, Soulbinds, Covenants, Legendaries, Torghast, M+ and Valor changes, a new raid, people not liking the Maw. The Maw was not even remotely close to finished. Plus a global pandemic. Their expectations for Shadowlands were super high, and I don't think they were able to achieve what they wanted to. Oh, I'm going to assume every follow from this point on is a bot if they have lots of underscores and numbers in their name. If you're not a bot, I apologise. Please say hi in chat, and I'll say thank you properly. Is this a thing on Twitch? A bot follows a thing on Twitch. Should I just turn off the alert for the Otter League? How we doing? Welcome. Hang on a sec, I'll go follow you on Twitch just so you get the one that isn't a bot. Hey, CS subs, thank you. I only use Twitch and I don't see that at all. Huh, okay. Well, today we've had what I would imagine probably 50% of the follows of the channel today have not said a single word in chat. Plus, they also seem to have lots of numbers and underscores in their usernames. Well, having an underscore in your username is perfectly acceptable if you're a real person. Can't believe Team YouTube is still winning even when Twitch has bot assistance. Team YouTube is putting in a shift today. Fair play. Wonder what bots gain from subbing. Dunno. Hey, there we go. That sounds like a follow that's not a bot. Henry, thank you. Appreciate it. They're waiting for a signal and then they start spamming. Probably. They probably follow. I would imagine bots follow just every single streamer that has a certain amount of views, so that if that streamer gets hosted and if that streamer all of a sudden gets a host and has like 500 views or something, then the bots are like, right, now we spam. They're probably getting pretty smart nowadays. I'm well. How am I? I'm doing good. I'm doing good. Monday's a relatively chilling day. I'm a bot with no response incorporated in my software. Yeah, but like it's the bots I think are probably getting relatively smart nowadays. Anyway, yes, we've done our little patch 9.0.1 is probably a long ass way away talk. I need to put some of these materials to use ever so quickly. Let me just, please hold. Let me just make a couple of these, as I appear to have no Shadowghast rings anymore. 8, 16, let's just make 4 of them. Go. And then we'll head over to Outlands. I think a lot of Twitch bots are in response to how the Twitch algorithm works. It's to help smaller streamers. Yeah, it's probably true. There's the partnership the affiliate requirements for Twitch stream are so easily bottable. It's not even funny. Why they just don't get, why they don't just give the affiliate features to everybody, I don't understand at this point. But reagent bank, let's these are boreal shards, probably don't need to go in the reagent bank. They probably need to go in the guild bank. Because it's paperwork likely. Well, there's I've read through because obviously bringing my viewership from other platforms to Twitch will basically mean I can take up the affiliate offer that Twitch will hand out almost instantly. So I wanted to sort of read the ins and outs of the affiliate agreement, because there's a few things in it that seem suspect to me. There is a content exclusivity clause in the partnership in the affiliate agreement, which is a bit weird. Plus, they also like to lock down the basically Twitch claims ownership of the content for 24 hours after it's broadcast, meaning that in theory you shouldn't then export it to somewhere like YouTube or something like that, that they have exclusivity on the content you stream on their platform for 24 hours, which sort of makes sense, but it still feels slightly weird. I'm also trying to get clarification from Twitch that if I do become a Twitch affiliate, whether I will still be able to do dual streaming. Because I would like Team YouTube and Team Twitch to continue to be a thing. The reason I did it in the first place was that so people can, choose the platform that they prefer. Plus it spreads my wings a little bit further, and helps me grow my presence and channel and whatever. But yeah, I wanted to make sure that I have a full understanding of this thing before I go into it. Because there's a common what I feel is a misconception on the internet that if you sign the affiliate agreement or the partnership agreement with Twitch, that you as a creator are exclusive to the platform, that you can only stream on Twitch. Now, I've read the entire contract agreement and it doesn't state that anywhere. I think that's just a misunderstanding by people. If I become an affiliate on Twitch, I can still stream on YouTube. It is the content that is exclusive, not the creator. It's that 24-hour exclusivity. That's it, yeah. The content that you choose to stream to Twitch becomes exclusive to them. It's an exclusivity on the content, not the content creator. So, for example, I could still stream my regular on YouTube, as we do up until now, and then I could still also later that same day stream on Twitch if I wanted to. What I'm trying to work out from Twitch is whether I can do both. Can I stream to YouTube and to Twitch? Yes or no? But we'll see. Ice, thank you for the follow. Appreciate it. Welcome, welcome. So just not the same time or with the same video. It's hard to tell. It's hard, because multi-streaming is not really something many creators do. Simultaneously, I don't think so. I'm not sure if the affiliate contract binds you to one platform. Partnership, on the other hand, might do that. Well, this is a thing, right? The partnership contract is not easy to find. The affiliate contract is public knowledge. It's publicly available on their website. The partnership contract, though, is not, which makes me feel that they're trying to hide something in it, which wouldn't surprise me. And honestly, I can't see any reason why you would sign up to the partnership agreement with Twitch based on what you get from the affiliate. Like, I I genuinely can't see what additional benefits they could offer that would make it worthwhile being exclusive to their platform. Where is Shatrath gone? There's Shatrath. But we'll see. We'll see. I don't need to bore you guys with the legalities of it. You can stream on Twitch, then post that stream to YouTube 24 hours later, but you can't run them both at the same time. Well, you say that, but show me where in the agreement that it says you can't do that. Because it's not very apparent that that's a thing. Where's the... hang on. Pausings. Let me show you what I mean. I mean, who knows? We could have some legal lawyer or something in here. Who knows? But if we go to... where is it? Resources. Terms of service. Affiliate program agreement. Let's just link it to you guys. So, for those on YouTube, for those on Twitch, that's the Twitch affiliate agreement. I can't find anywhere in there that stipulates that I can't. It doesn't strictly say that I can, nor does it strictly say that I can't multi-stream. Asmogol said that yesterday the partnership would bind you to the platform, yet his mods create videos with his streaming content on YouTube, which seems to be legit to do. Otherwise, he wouldn't be able to continue doing what he's doing. Well, the likelihood is that Asmogol's contract is probably not the same contract that 90% of partners sign. Because let's be honest, he's one of the most monumentally large creators on the platform. When you have that much pull, there's a strong chance that his agreement is different to others. There's also a strong chance he has no idea what's in his contract and he just does his own thing anyway. The content is not exclusive to Twitch if you stream it somewhere else at the same time. Yeah, it's difficult. During the exclusivity period of any live Twitch content, you will not nor permit or authorize any third party to broadcast, stream, distribute, exhibit, or otherwise make available such live Twitch content in any manner. From section 2.2. Yes, but you have to then look slightly further above to see what they deem to be Twitch live content. It says, solely any live audio-visual work that you choose to provide to us as user content. Starting from the beginning of the initial broadcast of any such Twitch live content and continuing for a period of 24 hours. So, by that I read it to mean that what I provide to Twitch I can't take somewhere else, but that doesn't prevent me from providing it to somebody else at the same time. I don't know. Yeah, it's the 2.2 thing, but that 2.2 is really ambiguous. But it doesn't lock me to the platform. That's key for me. It means I can still stream on YouTube, and I can still stream on Twitch. The question marks for me lie around whether I can multi-stream. I mean, if I'm honest, I'll probably do it anyway. I'll just make the stream different to YouTube. I'll just stream it ever so slightly different to YouTube. It's not the same content then. I'll just use a different overlay on YouTube. It's fine. I'll work it out anyway. I'll work it out. Hazelnutty Games used to have separate Twitch and YouTube streams for a while. Oh, this is it. Oh, but you're doing it different days of the week. Well, this is it. I was kind of thinking that my plan on the reason I ventured onto Twitch in the first place was that I wanted to have a place where there was a solid disconnect between the main YouTube channel. For the main YouTube channel, if and as and when I stream anything other than World of Warcraft, it has a massive negative effect on the rest of the channel's performance. So hence why I wanted to have a Twitch channel set up so that if and as and when we play other games, I can feel totally free to do so, and it doesn't have that detrimental effect on the main YouTube channel. But of course, it would be nice if I could continue to, you know, Team YouTube, Team Twitch. It's all good fun. Lets people view on the platform that they prefer. If there's a solid line in the agreement that states I can't do it, then sure. But if there is, I can't find it. I mean, in theory, I could email Twitch and ask them, but the likelihood of me actually getting a reply is, I would say probably less than none, but we'll see. Anyway, Twitch, YouTube stuff aside, let's get to Terokkar Forest. This is our next zone that we are going to capitalize on. Now, I think I've actually done most of the stuff here, so this might be relatively quick and easy. I don't think there's a huge amount to do in Terokkar Forest. Where's the mini list gone? Can we get the mini list? What is it? Control left click for the mini list. This is Shattrath. We need to step outside the boundaries of Shattrath. Here we go. Terokkar Forest. So we have the Shatari Skyguard faction over here. We're going to have to do some business with them, I guess. There's a high flying over Sketis. Earn exalted status with the Shatari Skyguard. Okay, we're going to have to work out how. That's daily quests. That I know for a fact. If I remember, you do it all in this area. This is daily quests. I wonder if there's a cheese mechanic to make this faster. We'll have to work it out. It says from the beginning of the stream, so it should be deemed from exclusive from that time, and broadcasting on YouTube at the same time would be a breach. It's really hard to know because it doesn't actually talk about. It's generic. That's the problem. The agreement is generic. It's not specific. Twitch is the better platform for the viewer experience, whilst YouTube is the better for video browsing. True, very true. But my reason to stream on YouTube in the first place was that long term, YouTube is a far better platform for it. The difficulty currently, though, is that the majority of the community is on Twitch, and Twitch has the better tools, features, functionality for now. But I don't particularly like Twitch as a company. I'm not going to lie. The way they handle things and the way they deal with things is just terrible. It's not good for the viewer nor the creator. If the tides change, then I want to have it set up on YouTube, ready to, you know. YouTube could press a button their end and make live streaming on YouTube the #1 platform, and they could do it like literally overnight if they wanted to. All they needed to do would be to start pushing live content on YouTube, and it would be game over for Twitch instantly. Just as it stands right now, YouTube haven't done it, but that's not to say that they won't. But anyway, Case closed. We'll talk about this a little bit more. It's the politics behind live streaming, which I'm sure interests some, but I'm also very aware it's probably highly boring to most. So let's see what we need to do out here. We can't do any of the holiday events. That's for sure, because you know it's not the holiday time right now. Professions. We need Mr. Pinchy's gift. What's this? What is Mr. Pinchy's gift? You get Mr. Pinchy and then you get the magical crawdad. Have I never got a Mr. Pinchy? Okay, there's some quests we need to do. Crocolisk's in the city. Bring a baby crocolisk to Old Man Barlow. You can find him fishing northeast of Shatrath City by the lake. Okay. Oh, that's then he gives you the fishing bag thing. And there's a muck breath in it. There's a pet in it I still need. Alright, we might have to do some fishing then. Okay, there's a bunch of quests. Well, in fact, there's not even a bunch of quests. There's only, by the looks of things, only one single quest we still need to do. Rares. This is the good stuff. Good luck getting Mr. Pinchy. Is it a bit of a pain? Is it a bit of a tough one to get? Do we know what drop rates are on it? I bet it's ridiculously low, isn't it? That's why. Doomslayer drops some boots that we need. Ulrich drops a feathered belt that we need. What are these time lost scrolls? Shadowy symbols cover the parchment and pulse with energy. Use 10 time lost scrolls at the skull pile to summon the rares below. Oh, so there's summonable rares. And then each one of these summonable rares drops a bunch of stuff. Ooh, there's more stuff to do out here than I thought. Less than 2%. Oh, okay. That sounds pretty tough. Maybe with that I'll have to go on the long-term list of stuff to do. Take the opportunity to thank you for yesterday. Don't worry about it. Simple raid, my man. Don't worry. Like I said, most of the people were actually from Samadan's stream in the first place. Samadan raided me yesterday when he finished his stream. I think about 100 people came over to my stream from Samadan's. But it was it happened right at the point where I was just basically signing off for the evening anyway. So I thought, well, I might as well pass on the love, you know. The goal making community is relatively tight when you get into it, so. Waste of time. What is this about? You will need uncommon quality windwool hood, deathsink shoulders, netherweave tunic, frost woven legs, Proximo's. Wow, okay. Alright, there seems to be loads of stuff we've got to do here. A bag of many hides. 24 slot leatherworking bag. Random drop. Okay, we just need to kill things then. Just need to kill things then. I was borderline stressed at how many goal making streams was online. Couldn't pick, so just watched a movie. Well, I don't usually stream on a Sunday evening. It was very rare that I even threw the stream on yesterday, so I didn't mean to step on anybody's toes or make it difficult to choose. Zephyrian, thank you for the follow. Appreciate it. Welcome, welcome. All jokes aside, felt very humbled by the fact that goal-making whales visited my small corner content. Cheers. Ah, you're welcome. Right, let's throw up Zygor and see if there's if we've actually completed the quest line over here. Tero, how do you spell it? Tero, I think it's 2 Ks. Terokkar Forest, here we go. I think we've completed most of the quests. Okay, there's one. Let's go pick it up. What is cool is there's a bunch of dungeons here. And within these dungeons, there's some goodies we definitely need. I think each one of these dungeons, Manatomes, Sethic Halls, Shadow Labs, and Arcanine Crypts, I think they each have leatherworking patterns that we need, which will probably be the main thing we need from this zone. From a gold making point of view, I never really considered Terokkar Forest to be much of a muchness. It's not like, for example, over in Hellfire, for example, you could farm the moats of fire. Zangarmarsh, you had the Sporogar, which always dropped some cool stuff. Plus, there was the Firefly pet, for example. I never really considered Terokkar Forest to be a prime gold making zone. Best spot for Corium ore? I thought that was more. I mean, the Netherwing Ledge I thought was pretty much the best place for Corium ore for the most part. But you might be right, I'm not sure, it's been a long time since I've been here. Corium ore is just a rare version of the normal ore, I think. Basilisk Eyes, Dreadfang Venom, a core of feathers. Okay, so maybe there is more than I first gave it credit for. But that's why we're here. That's why we're exploring. I see Dead Draenei. That's a very sinister quest name. Speak with Ramdor the Mad, standing on the bone pile outside the Arcanine Crypt. Oh, is this just going to be a quest chain to give me some dungeon quests, I'd guess? Find and speak to Ezekiel of Shattrath in Shattrath City. Ah, okay. Sure. Talk to Ezekiel. He walks clockwise around the whole area surrounding the centre. Ah, let's head over back to Shattrath then. You get the feathers and trade for goodies. Let's have a look. Let's have a look. There used to be a cheat code in Warcraft 3, I see Dead Daddy or something. Oh, really? I never played the Warcraft games before World of Warcraft. Never, to be honest, before I played World of Warcraft, I wasn't that much of a PC gamer. When I was really young, I always played PC games, until I was old enough to start affording the games consoles. Then I was just a console junkie for a whole bunch of time. We're talking like PlayStation 2, PlayStation 3, Xbox 360 era, that kind of thing. I was a console junkie heart through and through. But then, not only was I old enough to start affording my own consoles, I became old enough to be able to afford my own PC. And that was a game changer. That's when we turned back to PC gaming, and have never looked back since. Talk to Dirty Larry. Okay. Do I dare ask why he's got the nickname Dirty Larry? I hope it's just for the fact that he's not taken a bath recently. Oh, he appears to, he appears as if he may be homeless. Okay. We gotta kill Dirty Larry. Oh no, poor Larry. Ah, feel bad. Sort of, maybe. Oh, he'll surrender, it's fine, okay. We get him to 1 HP, it's fine. We don't actually kill Dirty Larry. I see dead people, it removed the fog of war. Doesn't beat IDDQD, the original cheat code. OG of cheat codes. With Who's Your Daddy, I think you were just one-shotting everything. That's funny. Yeah, I wish cheat codes were still a thing. Games don't have cheat codes anymore. Because back in the day, cheat codes used to unlock things that now you have to grind for, or you have to pay to unlock them. Developers would much rather lock something away behind a microtransaction than just create a cheat code, which I think is sad. I used to remember back in high school, back in high school, like during the break times, we would go to the IT block and use the computers there, and we would like scour the internet for cheat codes for games and print them out. And we used to like print out like full walkthrough guides for games, and we used to print them out on like 500 sheets of paper and get told off by the IT teachers for wasting all of the paper. And we'd take these massive reams of paper home with cheat codes and walkthroughs for video games on them. Such an absolute nerd. Absolute nerd forever and a day. Back in the day when you had to print out stuff because you didn't actually have internet at home. And the only way to download these full guides was to use the school internet, because the school internet was really fast. I mean, relatively speaking, it was probably just like dial-up internet, just like with a fancy modem. It wasn't actually fast, but it was faster than the internet you used to be able to get at home. So I remember when my school got, I think it was megabyte broadband. Just think about that now. We've got like, currently I have 1,000 meg broadband. And I remember when our school, as the entire school, got 1 meg broadband. And that was massive. Collect Iron Jaw pelt. Am I killing something specific? Then kill Iron Jaw. Where is he? I don't see no Iron Jaw. I assume Iron Jaw is a wolf, right? Or is it? No. All I can see is a stupid skunk. He looks like a dark brown wolf that walks around the earth. Oh, okay. Used to use MSN on 56k modems when they were a thing. Oh, I remember the days. I remember those days. Right, where's the... Okay. The WoW seems to say that it's over this way somewhere. There we go. That's... Zygore's sending me off on a wild goose chase. That's the problem. There he is. He's hiding in the trees. That's my problem. Ma, get off the phone. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, the phone would ring and the panic. The panic. Don't answer that phone! Because it would cut off your internet. That was also when you had to pay for the internet, like by the minute. And it went onto the phone bill. The landline phone bill. Yeah, landline, boys and girls. You remember those? Can't remember the last time I owned a landline. Click Drain Eye vessels. They look like lanterns on the ground inside this building area. There's one there, look. Pew! Pew! How many do we need? Oh, 8 of them? I should remember to loot everything as well, because there's actually some still plenty of goodies we need from Outlands from killing things. Downloading a song for 30 minutes, crazy. I remember my uncle was one of the first people in the family to get like proper broadband internet, and this was still when Napster was a thing. And so, as you can imagine, he became very popular very quickly with his fast Napster. Oh, could you just maybe download this song for me? Napster and Kazaa. Who remembers that cesspool of viruses? Kazaa and LimeWire. That was post Napster days though. This, for all of the Zoomers in chat, was before Spotify was a thing. You used to illegally download your music, one track at a time. Streaming music was not a thing. Your internet was not even fast enough to stream a music track. Yet somehow the radio had done it for years. That's what I never understood. How the hell does this radio, which is invisible things flying through the air, send me music? But this fancy technology internet connection still isn't fast enough to even send me a music file. Yet, 1920s radio worked fine. I mean, I like my technology, but that I never understood. Oh my god, you had to go there with LimeWire. I tell you what, it was programs like LimeWire that basically kept antivirus software companies in business. If they didn't exist, can you imagine what the because you have like AVG nowadays is super popular for your internet security. What are the other ones? Norton antivirus. People still use that even nowadays. It was those file sharing, peer-to-peer, dodgy ass pieces of software that nobody knew what the hell was going on with them. Watching a 480p JPEG picture would take a minute to load in your browser, yeah. Yeah, I equally remember being at high school and there being video clip websites. Video clip websites where you could download the videos, and it would be this was back when you would save the video on a floppy disk, right? You had 1.4 megabytes on a floppy disk, and you would share video file, like 3-second long funny video clips of some guy falling over. And it would take you half an hour to download a 3-second video clip, and then you'd give it to your friend on a floppy disk. That was the equivalent of sharing a meme. Just think about that. Showing your age with being part of LimeWire, same with Napster. Hey, I'm no spring chicken. I must admit though, I've always been told that I look considerably younger than I actually am. Maybe not so much in the last couple of years, but... Aha! Well, that was Terokkar Forest questline completed. Well, that was pretty stonkingly fast. Right, with that stuff out of the way then, we can start working on the Shatari Skyguard. How do we get reputation with these Shatari Skyguard businesses? These, I still have a strong suspicion and a concern that these are linked to daily quests even now. Shatari Skyguard. Reputation guide. Go. Talk to Eula. Oh, we gotta go back to Shatrath, really? Time to fly, time to cancel scan. We should be making gold while we do this. Don't have 2 accounts for no reason. Come on, slow-ass computer. Gonna arrive in Shatrath before my second account loads. There we go. Oh, we didn't even put those Shadowgast rings on the auction house. Now I feel double stupid. What have we sold though? Oh, Bone Shatter Pauldrons at rank 4. Yoink. That's a nice cheeky sale. 26k crafting cost, sold for 60. Oh boy, we've been undercut on a lot of stuff. Oh, only 44 items actually. That's not too bad. I have a feeling actually, I don't think I did a restock at all at the weekend. So I'm probably missing a whole bunch of items. We'll probably do a recraft this evening though. We won't do that now. Get these back up on the auction house. We're venturing closer and closer to our second gold cap on this realm. I reckon by the end of the week, if we can have a good Wednesday and I can limit my spending, if I don't blow too much gold on materials, I reckon we might be able to hit second gold cap by the week this week if we have a good Wednesday. We had a reasonably good week last week. We went from 11 mil on this realm up to 16. Well, actually, technically the last week it seems to state that we spent 6.4 mil, but we made 10.8. So a 4.3 mil profit last week. So if we can replicate that again this week, which I know is going to be more of a challenge this week because week by week our revenue is going to slightly start to decrease, and I'm not entirely sure how much profit I can squeeze out. I mean, this is a ludicrous amount of profit on 10 mil sales, but I think this is slightly exaggerated because I didn't buy a lot of materials. I already had a bunch of materials that I bought the week before. So if we look at the month figures, for example, yeah, you can see the difference there. This is more representative of what we've actually been making. In the last month, we've gone... This was the point... I mean, yeah, I wasn't selling anything for a while. Patch 9.0.5 turned up. I decided, right, it's time to sell some legendaries again. We went from 11 mil... all the way down to a low of 8.5, restocking and buying materials, and since then it's been since this point where we had our full inventory of legendaries again, plus we had some materials to craft with, we've seen a relatively steady increase. So if we can keep this trend in this sort of direction, we might hit 20 mil by the end of this week. But that's going to require a couple of stonking days And it's going to require me to probably micromanage the auction house a little bit more than I actually want to, but we'll see how it goes. I really, really, really want to work on my TSM guides this week. But to be able to do that, I need to not spend all my life in the auction house. But anyway, where are we at here? Accept threat from above. Is that this one? So you want to join the Sky Guard. Well, you know you can fly, but can you fight? The Sky Guard is sworn to protect Shatrath from the dangers that loom above us, both near and far. Reaching the ogres has been problematic for Shatrath's ground units. That's where we come in. See what you can do to help them. Slay 20 ogres in the Barrier Hills and return to Eula in Shatrath City. Okay. Okay. So actually, even though this is part of Terokkar Forest, we're probably not going to spend much time there, are we? Oh, it's in this very northern part. Okay, that's fine. We can work with this. Do we have any reputation with these dudes to begin with? I mean, I should have some because, well, just because I should. Is it considered a Shatrath reputation? It is. Oh god, we're still only neutral with these dudes. Oh, we're gonna have to start this right from the beginning. Ouch. Okay, well, maybe we put them as experience bar then. I can't believe I've never done anything of these quests. Ooh, getting rep with these fellas is going to be more of a challenge than I first thought. Well, let's do it. Pew! Is this just a straight kiln quest? It is. Nice. These dudes were like proper tanky back in the day. This was technically group activity. You weren't doing this solo. I mean, technically you could. Big Handsome Pete, how we doing? Welcome, welcome. Evening to you. Cleft hoof meat? How did we get meat off killing ogres? that's what I loved about like the old expansions. The loot tables for mobs were just wacky. And it felt more RPG-ish in terms of the fact that yes, an ogre might have a piece of meat in his pocket, and so when you kill him, you might get a piece of meat. You didn't necessarily have to, like this dude had a healing potion. It doesn't happen nowadays. In the entirety of Shadowlands, there's not even rare BOEs that drop. It's just, it feels stale. Burning Crusade still felt like a proper RPG. I'm been away for months, couldn't be bothered with a game. You fall into the same category a lot of people have fallen into. Oh, there's some adamantite there, look. A lot of people share your mindset on that. And I get it. I get it. There's in terms of endgame content right now, unless you're still progressing with the raid, there's not a huge draw for you to really be doing much at all. Because arguably Valor being introduced in 9.0.5 is a thing, but it's kind of weird in terms of the fact that Valor was really something for the Mythic Plus people to chase after. But if you were sort of if you were big into your Mythic Plus in the first place, then you were probably already 220 item level anyway. So Valor then didn't really have any much of a it ended up being nothing more than just a bonus at best. Interestingly, though, we've not seen, or at least I've not seen, any sort of effect on the material vendor. I don't see people cashing in their Valor points for materials in any way, shape, or form. At least on my realm. It may be masked by the fact that legendaries had their buff as well. So the demand for the demand for the leather actually went up in the first, or the demand for the materials went up in the first place, possibly masking a slight increase in supply, but we'll see. I don't raid because human interaction sucks. I'm just leveling a Northrend engineer to get the chopper on the auction house. Ah, yeah, because you need to be exalted with them, don't you, to get the pattern. I remember. It's relatively quick and easy to do, though. You just run Pit of Sauron like 20 times, and you're good. What do you think Blizzard needs to do to make it better? Well, arguably they're already doing what they need to do, and that's work on the next patch. We really need. It was kind of a calamity of errors a little bit for the launch of Shadowlands. They had to they obviously had to put way more development time into just balancing things than they intended. On top of the fact that you know, like global pandemic and that, it was not perfect. I think as long as they get patch 9.1 right, it'll be all gravy, because technically this is meant to be Blizzard's good expansion. And it's going to be a bit of a concern if this ends up being a flop. Because then they'll end up having 2 bad expansions in a row. Blizzard really cannot afford to have Shadowlands be another bad expansion. Because BFA annoyed a lot of people. And there was a lot of... Hang on, what am I trying to do? Use your netherrae cage. Kill Blackwind Warp Chaser. BFA had a negative effect on the player base very strongly, I think. Oh, hang on. Keep your netherrae out whilst killing Warp Chasers, and wait until it's done eating before you... Oh, hang on. Hang on. Is this thing meant to nom on these corpses then? Oh, okay. It noms on it. I see. Is he going to nom on this one now? Yeah, they kind of need to make Shadowlands good. Which is kind of why I would hope that... I'm perfectly happy with them delaying 9.1. Like, delay patch 9.1 as long as you need to get it right. And I think that's maybe what Blizzard are going to do. They're going to take the loss of subscribers. They're going to take that hit on the chin. And take the time that they need to get patch 9.1 right. I don't think... they were kind of hoping that, you know, the more would hold people's interests more so than it did. Because arguably the more is the current endgame zone. And I can't find a single soul that enjoys being in the more. It was a swing and a miss, I think. But it's very easy to bash on Shadowlands when, let's be honest, it's still considerably better than BFA was. Let's get this thing back out because he seems to disappear. Oh, you got the rep, you just didn't have the last 15 points of the skill. Yeah, there's still a few, I don't know about engineering per se, but there's still a few, I don't even think I've got leatherworking fully maxed. Oh no, I do. The Outlands is, if you're going back and you're finishing off the leveling, some professions like blacksmithing, for example, blacksmithing's really challenging to get, especially Outlands, to max level without it costing you ludicrous amounts of gold. That is. Hang on, where did he go? Come back. Did it? Oh, what? Oh no, he's here. Look, he's hiding. All part of my completing series for Outlands is going to be making sure that we've got all the professions and stuff maxed out. It's not huge. It's not for huge gold making potential now, but it falls into the category of that sort of that nice to have steady passive income. I mean, obviously at the moment I'm making an absolute fortune on selling legendaries, but I'm very aware that that is relatively time gated. There'll come a point where the demand for legendaries will drop off. Even patch 9.1, we still don't know what they're going to do with legendaries in patch 9.1. I still have a horrible concern that they might just can off legendaries completely. But we'll have to see. Because it's almost as if they're masking the fact that they might just get rid of legendaries by not talking about legendaries. Because we kind of know that there's going to be a new zone. We know that there's going to be a new raid. We know that they're making a mega dungeon. They did not mutter a word about legendaries. Which is a concern. Because if simply put, I don't think that Blizzard will see the legendary system as a success. I don't think having 3 or 4 goblins on any given realm completely monopolizing the legendary market is what Blizzard want. You look at the accessibility of every other profession in Shadowlands, yet the legendaries are the exact opposite of that. Like literally the literal definition of exact opposite. Whereas instead of everybody being able to do it, virtually nobody is able to do it without great amounts of time, effort and gold investment to do it. I don't think that, at least the legendary crafting as it's standard in 9.0, I don't think Blizzard will see it as a success. I mean, while I'm happy to make millions off it, I'm very aware that I'm literally one of 4 people on my realm that's able to do that. And I play on Sylvanas is a connected realm as well. It's not even big enough to be a standalone server. Use the elixir of shadows in your bags. Alright. I don't have an elixir of shadows. I have a major agility elixir. How's this going to work then? Am I being dumb? I don't have an elixir of shadows. Hashtag confused? What's going on here? Please hold. Obtain an elixir of shadows from Severin and use it to find and slay Talon Oh, okay. I need to get the elixirs of shadows then. What is going on? Where's this Severin dude? Was he a vendor right back at the beginning, maybe? Oh no, it's telling me to go up here. No, this is where you summon the dude. Hang on, hang on. Something's not right here. Let's go back to the beginning. It's a repeatable quest. You have to farm mobs to get the quest item to turn in. Obtain an elixir of shadows from Severin and use. Where's this Severin dude? That's what we need to achieve. He's here. Ah, bring more dust and I'll prepare another elixir for you. I've got to bring him shadow dust. Okay. Okay. So I've got to bring him some shadow dust before he'll give me a potion. Where do we get said shadow dust from? Shadow dust we get from killing stuff around here, I guess. Do I have any shadow dust? No. Well, that's not a great start, is it? It's detailed pretty well in the Wowhead comments of the NPC Terokkar, who's the last rare in the chain. Okay. Okay. Right, can we kill these dudes and get whatever it is that we need? Not yet. Although we are gaining rep just for killing these fellas. Maybe we just go kamikaze on the mobs out here. Maybe that's a thing. If we're going to gain rep by killing them anyway. Okay. You have to kill the birdman people. It just, shadow dust just drops from all of them. Aha, okay. So yeah, we just go Rambo on anything round here. There's no one up here. Pew. There we go, there's a piece of shadow dust. What did it say we needed? We needed like 6 of them for one. Okay. Okay. Oh, there's a second one. Oh, these seem to be dropping much more frequently now. We have 4. My laptop that I play WoW on can't handle TSM. I already have to play on 1 quality, but do you think that TSM is necessary to maximize goal making? Well, yes. Based on how you phrased your question, you can perfectly well make gold without Trade Skill Master. But to maximize gold making, yes, you need TSM. Because you're simply, it depends on what you're, there's so many caveats to that. Yes and no. If you're just farming materials and you're selling materials on the auction house, for the most part you can probably get away without using TSM pretty well. But if you want to be optimal about what you're doing, like many gold makers do, there is a distinct advantage to using Trade Skill Master. That can't be denied. Can you still make gold without Trade Skill Master? Absolutely. Can you make more gold by using Trade Skill Master? Absolutely. I can't find any more birdie dudes. Where's all the birdie dudes? I've only got myself five dust. Give me more birdie dudes. It's instantly telling me that killing these things for reputation alone is not an option. We are going to have to do the dailies. I'm hoping that some of the dungeons give rep with these fellas. That would be optimal. Hang on, that was another dust, wasn't it? Is that 6? There we go, that's 6. Do we not, though, technically need... Because there's 3 Talon priests we need to kill. So theoretically, do we not need 18 dust to make 3 elixirs? I think my maths is right on that. What did this dude do or kill? Why was he here? And now why is he there? This dude is doing something. Something that I should be copying. Right, there's no more birdie dudes. Well, we've got enough... Oh, hang on. Birdie dudes. Shatari rep is only from quests or mobs, no instance tied to them. Ouch. Okay, that's gonna make the rep farming a little bit more painful. It's at that point then we probably need to consider what is the benefit of doing this. What does it drop reward wise? These are just quests. There's a vendor. Oh my god, it gives loads of nether rays. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 mounts that I need to collect by completing this. Oh dear. I was hoping that wasn't going to be the case, because that now means I absolutely have to do it. Absolutely have to do it. Okay. You use the elixir to drink it to see the ghost birdies. Then you farm those to get the scrolls to summon the rares. Okay. Plus there's a tabard we need. Ah, Jesus. We absolutely are going to have to be doing this then. Okay. Right, well, let's go get ourselves an elixir then. We've got enough dust for an elixir. Can we just buy this dust? Hey, we can just buy the dust. Shadow dust. Shadow dust. Ha, not easily. There's 4. There's 4 on the auction house. Well, that's not helpful at all. Even the rare items to summon the rares? Oh, well that is probably going to be a bonus. Elixir of Shadows. Is that something you can buy? No, they're soulbound. Allow the imbiber to see the shadowy spirits in Sketis. Okay. Okay then. Right, so if we go up here, pop our potion, or our elixir. Shit, where'd it go? There it is. Woo! I thought I lost it then. Hey, now we see this fella. Boom! Pew pew. Time lost scroll. Jesus, these things are like mad expensive. Time lost scroll is what you get from the rares. You then need 10 of those to summon. Okay. How long does this elixir of shadow last? 20 minutes. Is this potentially an endless farm though? Since you get the buff for 20 minutes. As long as within 20 minutes you can kill enough things to get another one, You shouldn't have any downtime, right? If I feel. Have I got to wait for these things to respawn now? That's what I don't have to. That's what I don't want to be doing though. I don't want to be waiting for respawns. But actually, all of the shadowy dudes drop me the scrolls. So not just the quest ones. It's about an 8-hour grind. The only thing that's time gated is the last guy in the chain who's on a 15-minute timer. Okay. Student made a video a while ago about farming the shadow dust and the scrolls. Okay. What about the birdies? Do the mini birdies drop anything we want? Probably not. The mini birdies? Mini birdies? Right then. Well, we have a plan then. Sort of, maybe. Possibly. And I bet there's the opportunity to in fact, I've seen this, you know. I've seen people selling this reputation. They've been selling it as like they've been selling it as like a one-time buy it from me, get you the rep sort of thing. I guess killing the rares gives a huge bump. What's this thing? Bring Ishel's Alamak to Sky Commander. I bet these are the things that drop a lot, or give you a lot of reputation. For reference, however much of this I can cheese by just buying it off the auction house, I happily will do. I make lots of gold in the game to alleviate my grinding. I will happily spend gold on anything to not have to grind. Some pretty sexy transmog the boss drops. Burning Crusade transmog was amazing. People focus so heavily on vanilla for transmog. Honestly, I genuinely feel that Burning Crusade has much better transmog. And this is coming from somebody that doesn't give a hoot about transmog. So you can take that in one or two ways. Either you can just invalidate my opinion because I don't care about transmog, or you can look at it from the point of view that even for somebody that doesn't care about transmog to think that Burning Crusade transmog looks better, it must really actually be better. Right, I'll follow Zygort to the T until we've kind of done it. I guess it'll get to the point where we're restricted to only doing daily quests, right? Bring the book to Rylak the Redeemed in the lower city section of Shattrath. Okay. Let's head over to Shattrath then. Is there a flight point round here? Is this a flight point? There's not a flight point up here, is there? You have to go down here. Newly dinged mage has a definite goal to collect the raid tier from Burning Crusade. Yeah, some of the transmog from BC looks very good. Oh no, hang on, that's Jade Forest. Like that would be that would have been a mistake. Where are we turning this in then? Down over there. Oh, I forget you can fly indoors in here. That's a nice little luxury, you know, being able to fly anywhere around here. Not like stupid Ouroboros that you can barely mount up half the places. Yoink. Another 75 rep. Getting there. Return to Sky Commander at the Blackwing landing in Terokkar Forest with the news about the return. Oh, okay. This is what I forgot. This is Burning Crusade in a nutshell, right? Here's a quest to go halfway across the map. Okay, now you've completed that quest. Right, well the follow-up quest is to go halfway across the map again. Alright, great, thanks. That was pointless, wasn't it? Can't you just, you know, send a mail pigeon? Telegram? Right, time to fly, time to pee. I need a bathroom break. I'll be back in 2 minutes, boys and girls. What if I don't want to be a pigeon? Sometimes you don't want to be a pigeon. I don't know why this reminded me of this, but for any of you guys that have seen the film Chicken Run, really old film now, really old animated film about, you know, chickens. Surprise, surprise. One of my favourite quotes from Chicken Run, when one of the chickens was like, I'm gonna really butcher the quote, but it's like when the chickens learn that the chickens are made and then they become pies, chicken pies. One of the chickens said, I don't want to be a pie. I don't like gravy. Made me giggle. Obtain some dude's package at his dwelling in the eastern part and return to him with it. Okay. Random movie quote of the day. I don't want to be a pie. I don't like gravy. Tickled me. Right, where's this dude's package then? Hang on, we can kill all of these for some cheeky rep though. Yoink. Where is it? Hang on, is it back here? I think we're back here. Maybe in here? There we go, look. There's a box. Box of stuff. Yoink. And that back in then. That seems to tell me there's a rare around here. What's this doing? Hawkbane. Is this one of the things you can summon? Is that a thing? We'll get to that in a minute then. I probably should be killing all of these things so that they respawn and I can kill them again, but I'm on this stupid Sky Golem again. I hate this mount. I really need to remove the Sky Golem from my favourites list. In fact, I'm going to do it now. That goddamn mount. Where is it? Sky Golem. Unfavourite. Go away. Never want to use you again. The wibbly wobbliness of the Sky Golem is not my friend. Use Shabby Akoa disguise to obtain an adversarial bloodlines from Sakar and return to Hazak. Okay. Use some sort of funky disguise. Do I get the disguise this time or do I have to grind my ass off for it? No, I actually get the disguise this time. That's a bonus then. Is this just one of those disguises so that you don't get attacked by NPCs, or is it actually a requirement for the mission? Because I'd quite like to actually kill the NPCs, you know, because they give me rep. Okay. Buy adversarial bloodline. Oh, it then means you can talk to a dude that becomes a vendor. Aha! Starts to make sense. Is it this fella? Keeper of Scrolls. 3 gold? Skamazed. Okay. Oh, well, I did buy one, didn't I? Hang on. Hang on. Did I not buy one? I swear I clicked the buy button. Buy. Where did it go? Where'd it go? Oh, it's because it becomes a quest item now, doesn't it? Okay, sure. We did actually complete that. Fine. If I check the quest, it'll probably say... Yeah, there we go. Now, I was waiting to find it in my inventory. And obviously nowadays, quest items don't stay in your inventory. They just, you know, disappear into the nether. Find the skull piles in the middle of the summoning circles of Sketis. Summon and defeat each of the descendants by using 10 time lost scrolls at the skull pile. Okay, and that will give you a time lost offering. Alright. Collect 4 more shadow dust. Why do I need more shadow dust? Oh, I need more shadow dust to turn into elixirs to get more time lost scrolls. Oh, Jesus. Okay, okay. There's one more. I guess Hearthing Out dispelled it. It probably did, yeah. Although it was only on a timer anyway. Maybe leaving the... I don't know. Something caused it to... Yeah. It was a 20-minute buff. Not sure where or why it disappeared, but it did, so... Do these birdies drop dust? They probably don't, but I'm going to kill them anyway, just in case. Escort the Skyguard prisoner to safety. Alright. Does he move at a reasonable pace? That's going to be the question. And can I just fly away? No, he's slow as all hell. Oh, Jesus. I hate escort quests. If you leave the zone, it drops. Ah, okay. Well, that'll be the problem then. Right. This fella's going to be all levels of slow. Daily quest flashback. See, I wouldn't mind having, like, I didn't really mind daily quests. You always at least felt as if you were working towards something every time you did it. I never feel as if I'm working towards anything if I have to do, like, the mall or something. I think this is the problem with Shadowlands, like, especially as a casual player who doesn't really engage too much in the raiding or Mythic Plus scene. I tend to find that my goals disappear very quickly, because outside of just doing world quests, it's like, well, I don't know. The moor doesn't feel like a zone that intrigues me enough to spend time there. I need 2 elixirs of shadows? Why do I need 2 of them? Oh, well, we're friendly with the Shatari Skyguard now. We're getting there. You watch. This rep by killing them will disappear now. Oh, what? I still need another... I need 2 elixirs of shadows, apparently. Right, use the elixir of shadows and you'll gain a buff. Well, last time I gained this buff, I lost it again, so I'm kind of cautious to use it. Now collect 32 time lost scrolls. Okay. Kill high priests, reavers, and worshippers. So get the buff, kill all the things. Okay. None of them seem to be giving me anything. Oh, there we go. There's one. 9 of 40. I think this really could be one hell of a time sink, you know. But I set myself the challenge of completing Outlands, so I will do it. Whoa, you're a big boy. Oh, hang on. I forget. Like, I can probably just one-shot you anyway. See ya. There's me forgetting that I'm in 15-year-old content right now. I had Fel Reaver flashbacks then. Being stamped on. Oh, another hour passes and still not enough scrolls. Is that the way it's going to be? Gotta love almost 2 mil damage. Big numbers. All about them big numbers. These fellas don't seem to be giving me... Oh, because it's only the ghosty boys that give me the scrolls I need. I'm just killing these General Joes that nobody cares about. I need to get up in the trees and kill the... there we go. It's... Yeah. See? Read the fucking manual. Kill the high priests, the reavers, and the worshippers. They're the shadowy dudes. These fellas should give us the scrolls. Here we go. So let's prioritise those dudes. Soulcaller? Nah, not bothered. Just the High Priest. You watch though. I bet there's no way to make these like force spawn. Okay, 30. That's much better progress. Much better progress. These fellas down here, whilst we should kill some of them, we don't need to kill all of them. That's too many to not fire off a multi-shot into. Way too tempting. Do we get reputation by killing them all the way up to Exalted? Does anybody know? Has anybody read the guide on this? There should be a big sign on the screen when you kill the wrong one. Yeah, there should be. An anti-dumbass warning. That's what we need. You could probably make that into a weak aura, but it's relatively niche. Let's go Rambo on everything. Let's just kill everything. Much easier solution. Casual 1.7 mil crit. Oh, look, loads of them up here, look. Juicy. Double layered. It's quicker with the mini boss and summons. Well, I mean, we need to, it'll be a combination of the lot then, won't it really? Killing these, getting a tiddly bit of rep every time you kill them. When you eventually get yourself enough time lost scrolls to summon a boss, I guess that's a nice chunk of rep in one go. I would hope. Let's see how it goes. Let's see how it goes. Oh, there's loads of them here. Tell you what, doing this back in the day though, I guess this was probably one hell of a time sink. Probably why I never did it. Although I think Burning Crusade for a long time, I was actually playing a Paladin in Burning Crusade. Surprise, surprise, everybody played a Paladin. Whilst I had my Hunter back in BC when it was, you know, real content. I don't want to press that yet because I don't know what I'm doing. Whilst I had my Hunter, it definitely wasn't my main back then. It's like 500 per summon. That's not bad at all, actually. That'll add up pretty quickly. Although that's still 42 summons to get from Revered to Exalted. If I actually kill everything, I'm going to make sure that I never run out of the Soul Dust either, because that's going to be a key, I think. Not Soul Dust, sorry, Shadow Dust. Soul Dust. Get your brain out of Shadowlands. $25 out of 40. Getting there slowly. I really wish there wasn't five mounts as a reward at the end of this. But a good reward at the end, you know, will make people do stuff. Take note, Shadowlands. Oh, hang on. No, Google, I was not talking to you. Go away. I love how Google just jumps in occasionally and thinks I'm talking to it. Google doesn't quite understand the concept of live streaming. There was 2. Double bubble. Big score. Look forward to the grind or gorilla rep in Blade's Edge Mountain. Is that even more grindy, is it? Are we just setting ourselves up for some horrendous amount of grinding? If I end up killing things faster than they respawn though, we've got double the problems. Like I said though, I genuinely don't mind doing these grinds if there's actually something worthwhile at the end of it. And if it's sort of, I guess it's a very fine line. Fine line between, you know, worth your time and not. Oh, 4 more. 4 more. We're getting there. Getting there. It's close. It's close. Two more. There we go. Hang on. Hang on. And you. Pew pew. I used to have a route to complete the dailies. I imagine that because my goal is to do a different zone each day on stream, so that the series doesn't go on forever and ever. But of course, if in that one stream we don't actually finish the zone fully, I might have to plan a bit of a route to get stuff done. Hang on, there we go. That was all 40. Now what do we do? Click the skull pile. It will use 10 time lost scrolls. Call forth Dark Screecher, Karog, Huntress, and Windrager. Collect talons, spine, claw, and scale. So we got to summon it and kill it 4 times now, I guess. I like the grinds you can do without gatekeeping. Like this one, it's a good one. The one for the drakes in the Shadowmoon Valley I hated. More than a month of dailies. I'm glad I've already done that one. Yeah, I did that one over a period of, yes, probably a month. Many years ago. I don't think I did it, or did I do it when it was, I don't know. Either way, I did it a long ass time ago, and yeah, I'm kind of glad I did. Oh no, these are bind on pickup. Phooey. Okay. Oh, now I can't use that pile of bones again. Ah. I have to find a new pile of bones. Is that what we're saying? We do, okay. Is this a pile of bones? Here we go. Kill Dark Screecher. Another bind on pickup. You know you can just buy the offerings, etc. off the auction house. You can skip the dailies by picking up the eggs, though. Aha. Well, I was going to follow the Zygor guide fully through it at least once, so I kind of get an understanding of what's going on. And then if there's any cheese mechanics after that, then we'll dive deep into the cheese mechanics. And yes, if I can buy stuff off the auction house, I will buy stuff off the auction house. I need another pile of bones. I need another bone pile. So a pile of bones over here. I guess the bones respawn, but it might be quicker for me to find another pile of bones than to try and wait for one to respawn. Here we go. Who are we doing now? This fella, the last one. Boom! And a bit of transmog out of it. Before you kill Terokkar, release your pets. It used to be bugged, so you get no credit if the pet kills him. Don't know if that's been fixed. Oh, that's handy to know, because the chances of it being fixed are slim. Because, let's be honest, Blizzard is not the best at fixing bugs. I guess that comes next then, right? This is where doing that gives us this offering. And that offering is then to kill the big dude, I guess. Right, this is the time lost offering. Is this what we say we can buy on the auction house? The process to summon this boss is as follows. Collect shadow dust from mobs in Sketis. Turn in 6 shadow dust to Severin for the quest for more shadow dust to obtain the elixir of shadows. Drink the elixir, gain a 20-minute buff that allows you to see the time lost mobs around Sketis. Kill the mobs to gain the scrolls. 40 required per summon. Make sure you're on the adversarial blood quest if this is your first time. It begins with the quest, blah blah blah. Go to a skull pile and use 10 time lost scrolls to summon a boss. 1 of each 4. Take the 4 items to Hazak to complete, which rewards a time lost offering. Use